ASEAN brings together the hearts and minds of 650 million people across 10 Southeast Asian nations, uniting us all with one vision, one identity, as one community. Welcome today to Channel News Asia's special live coverage of the 33rd ASEAN Summit. Things are happening today in Singapore, and there is a code of conduct for the navigation and the use of the South China Sea. That has been 16 years in the making for ASEAN. Well, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang said today that talks with ASEAN on this code should be completed in 3 years' time. Russian President Vladimir Putin's first visit to Singapore. We're expecting him this hour in conjunction with the 33rd ASEAN Summit and other related meetings.
And I'm Avril Hong with your business news. Chinese Vice Premier Liu He and U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin have reportedly resumed trade discussions in the run-up to the meeting between their leaders later this month.
Well, we've been talking about this for some time now, but the 33rd ASEAN Summit only officially begins today. And those leaders from the 10 ASEAN nations, together with their counterpart leaders from other regional and world powers, have already gathered in Singapore for this very key meeting. Our correspondents from across the region are back in town to help us cover this for you, and Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong will host the official welcome ceremony this evening. Singapore has been chair of ASEAN for this whole year of 2018. But our Prime Minister has also been hosting Chinese Premier Li Keqiang as he's on an official visit to Singapore. And this morning he delivered the 44th Singapore lecture. Also in town, Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, and he was just speaking at the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit. Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. Vice President Mike Pence are all on their way here now for those crucial talks on key regional issues. And on these official visits for each of them, for the U.S. and the Russian leaders, they will also be welcomed and meeting with their counterparts in Singapore. Now, let's zoom in on what's been happening in the last few hours. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang speaking about free trade and explaining why, for China, this free trade was important in order to avert wars and to create win-win results. He was making all those points at the 44th Singapore lecture on Singapore-China relations and on regional development. Now, Premier Li has been stressing the importance of rules-based multilateral free trade. He said that Beijing has always supported and upheld free trade, but China does believe there should be free and fair trade. Our correspondent Olivia Seong explains.